Fitzroy was actually Melbourne's very first suburb. It's had many transitions over the years, from ferociously working-class suburb to nowadays being the home of hot real estate and very cool people. Brunswick Street Fitzroy is known for its restaurants, cafes and bohemian lifestyle, and is one of Melbourne's major retail, eating and entertainment strips. We talked to Arch Staver of Nelson Alexander. OK, Arch, Fitzroy, pretty funky area to live, I would say, and work.
It is, very much so. It has just about everything that, draws people to the inner city.
And you work on Brunswick Street, so I imagine, how do you keep your svelte lines? Because more eateries here than probably anywhere in Melbourne, other than Lygon Street.
Well, there are eateries, and you can get just about anything from Japanese to contemporary Australian. It has a fantastic variety. It probably is best known now for its fashion, more so than its food. It was, once upon a time, about cafes, but it's now more about independent fashion labels, Alpha 60 and others along the strip, that really draws people to the area.
All right, real estate-wise, what's it doing? Because I mean, we talked about it originally being such a working-class area, but now it is a hot spot for people wanting to be near the city and be in a fairly cool area.
Yeah, well, Fitzroy, cool is the word. Fitzroy, it's quite eclectic. I mean, it manages to mix academia, poverty, wealth, all of these factors sort of come into play. There are professionals, there are factory workers that have lived here since the 50s, so it's just a nice combination, and it really makes for a very interesting dynamic.
What are the hot areas in Fitzroy at the moment then, and what's your money going to get you?
OK, well, Fitzroy, what makes Fitzroy interesting is the diversity. You can buy a one-bedroom apartment, but you can also buy a $4.2 million house opposite a park. So
which you sold the other day.
I did indeed.
Yeah, well done.
I will take kudos for that. There is that variety. The hot spots, North Fitzroy in particular, people love that. It's a real family-oriented area. The streets are a little larger, the houses are a little bigger as well. So we have a number of young families wanting to gravitate to that particular area. In and around this part of Fitzroy, it's about warehouses. I mean, if it's not a terrace home, it's got to be a warehouse. It's one of the two. And we have quite a scattering of converted warehouses. They're very, very popular. Even a converted church at the moment. Yes,
we saw a converted church there. And so what sort of money are people paying then to get into Fitzroy?
Well, we've had sales for a conventional single front might be, if it's not renovated, around $750,000. Anything renovated, we've had a single front that sold recently for $1.65 million. It's not unusual for the larger property to fetch towards the $3 million range, so the prices can be really quite up there. There are still some terrific opportunities in some of the pockets with workmen's cottages that might sell for around $680,000 through to $730,000.
All right. And have you noticed a change in the people that are trying to get into Fitzroy? Is it the same, as the last 10 years or so?
Oh, it has changed. CBD folk, people that work in town, really do gravitate to Fitzroy because you can hop on a tram or just stroll in there. We are, of course, Melbourne's first suburb, originally known as Newtown. We just abut the CBD, so we have a lot of bankers, a lot of lawyers that like to walk into town looking to buy in Fitzroy.
And you mentioned, so you got your bankers and your lawyers rubbing shoulders with your street artists and people with no job at all.
Exactly, and that's what makes Fitzroy such an interesting location.
In 1883, the Fitzroy Football Club was formed. Club president Joan Eddy is part of the new 21st century generation that's helped rebuild the club since the AFL sent it to Brisbane to form the Brisbane Lions in 1996. Joan, you're the president of the modern-day Fitzroy Football Club.
Indeed.
It must be great. This is such an historic place, isn't it, the Brunswick Oval?
Yeah, it's a real privilege. It's such an iconic ground and such a wonderful, I mean, look at the view that we've got and this grandstand, and yeah, it's a real privilege, I have to say.
And even modern day, it must be great to watch a game here, but also to think back when the Lions played here, or when the Gorillas played here, they were as they were known.
As they were known, and I think they were we were the Maroons before we were the Gorillas, and to think that Australian rules footy has been played here for nearly 130 years. Yeah. When I think about that, it's just like...
It's hard to fathom,
It is. It's really hard to fathom.
And people like the great Kevin Murray ran around out here. Yeah. And I presume he's a bit of a legend of the club still.
He is. Kevin, tradition for Kevin, he tries to come to every single first home game of the season that we play, and he was here again this year, and he usually tries to pop down for a couple of games. And, of course, when he's here, it's magical.
And Fitzroy would be probably one of the most iconic, along with Collingwood,
Yep.
working class suburbs in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's got that history, and of course, but the social, I guess, characteristics of both those suburbs have changed over the years, but it's still incredibly diverse. I mean, the Fitzroy Junior Footy Club's got like 38 language groups in it. The seniors have still got a very diverse sort of group of families involved, and that's wonderful. It's still great to have that.
And the modern day Fitzroy Football Club still keeps the tradition and the history alive of the former VFL club and
Absolutely,
AFL club?
absolutely. When we play here at Brunswick Street, this is our home ground, and the boys run out in the modern day Fitzroy colours. These ones, not the old gorilla and maroon colours, but we play the song, and people just love it. People just absolutely love it.
Okay, John, you're a local boy, grew up in McKean Street, North
My
Fitzroy.
parents live in McKean Street. I actually grew up in Fergie Street, which is about 100 metres from here.
100 metres. You haven't, what are you, scared to move around?
Yeah,
or
no, I've got a phobia of moving outside of the area.
You just love the local area.
I love North Fitzroy that much. It is probably one of the premier suburbs in Melbourne now, and witnessed by some of the sales we've had in the area. Some massive sales, over 3 million. There was one that was over 4 million, and I was actually quite surprised it didn't go higher, because on the average land value, it actually sold under that. So. But you're talking $3-4 million for properties in North Fitzroy, which is unheard of. Well, it is heard of now. It used to be unheard of, but it's a great suburb. And I think the amenities that North Fitzroy offers is what is bringing people here. We've got a beautiful park. We've got access to Brunswick Street, which is one of Australia's iconic streets. You can go anywhere in Australia and they know where Brunswick Street is.
Yep. And Lygon.
Lygon Street, and along with Fitzroy Street, but those two are within walking distance. And then you've got North Fitzroy Village here, some fantastic cafes. Rathdown Village is not too far away, and transport's brilliant, so it's great, just a great place to live.
Starting to understand why you've never moved more than 200 metres from where you were born.
Exactly.
John.
It's great to go home to my mum's place for lunch.
Oh, yeah, of course. And so for you, I guess, what are your findings happening with the market? How is it ebbing and flowing? Is it staying fairly stable?
Look, in this area, it's fairly stable because we've got more demand than we have supply. So that's always a good thing for a real estate agent, for anyone who owns a property in the area. So the problem for us is to get the stock. We've always got buyers, so that the prices have remained fairly level. There hasn't been any sort of backward swing as much as maybe some other suburbs further out. And it's just a great suburb to live in. It's quiet enough that you can have a family and enjoy that quiet life, and you've got parks and all the rest of it, but you're close enough to where it's all happening to, if you want that, you can walk there, so it's great.
What are your favourite pockets in the suburb?
Oh, well, look, obviously the main one would be Alfred Crescent, overlooking the park, but then McKean Street, Rose Street, Falconer Street, all great streets. And I suppose east of St George's Road would be considered more blue chip than the other side, but there's some great properties in Ray Street and Brunswick Street North. So overall, it's a great suburb, but this side of it would be probably a little bit better.
And is there a strong rental demand in the suburb?
With all the amenities we've got and access to the university, rentals are, if you've got a rental property, it's never have any vacancy problems. So it's great from that point of view. Developments in the area, the great thing is that there isn't an overdevelopment. Areas like, say, Brunswick, if you drive along Lygon Street, on every corner there's a new development going up. That's not happening in North Fitzroy. There are a few, but it's not. There's no oversupply.
There's not the land available.
There's not the land available. So, and we're surrounded by beautiful period homes, and it's very rare that any of those get bulldozed for development.
You're not planning on moving anytime soon?
No.